Today we're going to go over some things that you need to know about Google Meet and some updates that have happened possibly since the last time you used it. We're going to start with creating a meeting link, where you can put it in Canvas, what this will look like for students, and what you can do as a host in Google Meet. To start, you're going to go to Google Meet through the web at meet.google.com. This is the best way to schedule your Google Meet. From here, make sure that you're signed in with your Duneland Google account. Then click New Meeting. You'll then see some options. You can either start an instant meeting, you could schedule one in Google Calendar, or the one that I'm going to choose, which is create a meeting for later. When you click this, it's going to give you a link. You're going to want to copy this and put it somewhere where you can use it later. So I'm going to click Copy. You can also highlight it, right click, and hit copy. And then I'm going to actually go into Canvas, and I've created an assignment for the e-learning day that I'm going to put this link in. So I'm going to open this assignment, click edit, and I'm going to now paste that info. We want to make sure this is a link, so you can highlight, click the link symbol, and you can paste it. Now this is a hyperlink for your Google Meet. In Canvas, what I also recommend is that you change this from display grade as, which usually defaults to points, to not graded. But this will still give you the ability to assign this assignment. If you only have one designated time in the day where you are doing a synchronous meet, you can make the available from and until that time. If you have multiple periods in a day and you want to make sure that students don't access the assignment until it's time, you can remove the everyone and assign each period and choose the available from and until to be the specific time period for their class. For the example, I'm just going to leave this on everyone. And then I'm going to hit Save and Publish, or Save if you're not ready. The link is in Canvas. I'm going to do a couple of things to make sure that the meeting is set and ready to go for students. So this is before we actually would start class. I need to set these settings. So I'm going to click the link. Class has not started yet. I'm just doing some settings. And I'm going to click Join Now. And then I'm going to use the icon in the lower right, which is Host Controls. This allows you to say whether or not you can have a co-host. This is also whether or not students are able to share their screen, send chat messages, turn on their microphone, turn on their video, or what's really important is by default, this quick access is usually on. You're going to want to turn it off. With quick access off, then students will not be able to join your Google Meet until you have started the meeting. This is really important. Now that it's off, I can hit the X and I can end the call and wait for class to start when I'm going to resume it. When students click your link, they will have to click Join to join your meeting. With quick access off, they will see a message that says asking to join. You will have to admit students with this setting. I am going to show you some of the controls that you have during the meeting. This person joined as an attendee, as you saw in the screenshot before where I had to admit them. You can see your participants by clicking on the people symbol in the lower right corner. If there is a chat going on that you have enabled, you can also turn this off. That is also in the lower right corner. And again, as I showed you before, you have your host controls, making sure that you have quick access turned off. A couple of other things, you can get the meeting details. So if you need to see the link to send to anyone again, you can copy that joining info. Then you also have an activities button in the right side, which allows you to do a whiteboarding using Jamboard, which is another Google feature. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Then in the lower middle of the screen, you have your camera and microphone options to be turned on or off. You can turn on closed captioning, which is just a function for you. If a student needs to turn on closed captioning, they would need to click that button for themselves. I will come back to the hand in a moment. If you need to present or share your screen, you would click on this square with an arrow button, and then you have 3 options: your entire screen, a window, or a tab. A tab is really good if you're planning on showing a slideshow or a YouTube video in a separate window, or a specific animation. If you need to show something that's outside of your Chrome browser, then you would need to do the entire screen. I'm going to show a tab, and then it will show your list of tabs. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Canvas one for this. And then if you are going to have any audio going on, you'll want to make sure to click that checkbox for the Share tab audio. And then I'm going to click Share. So right now I am sharing my Canvas tab. My View tab is meet.google.com. So I can actually click on that View tab, and now I am sharing this screen, but I can still see my attendees and myself in this list. I will do that one more time. So I'm going to go back to when I clicked Share tab, so I'm going to stop sharing. So I went to Present, I chose Share tab, chose this Canvas tab, clicked Share, and now it's changed my screen. But I can click View tab in meet.google.com, and that will allow me to see what I am presenting and the people that I am presenting it to. So I can always switch back and forth. If I'm done sharing, I can just hit stop sharing. I can also change to a different tab and say share this tab instead. In the 3 dots, you have that option that I mentioned, whiteboard, to open a Jamboard. So if you want to do kind of an interactive whiteboard activity, that's really great. If you want to change your layout, you can click on change layout. Auto just kind of auto fits what it thinks is the best for the screen size. Spotlight is going to show the speaker at that moment. Sidebar will highlight the speaker and show your students in a list. If you'd like to do tiled, notice at the bottom that it shows a maximum number of tiles to display. So right now where this dot is at, it would show 16 students. So if I want more, this would show 30, 42, all the way up to 49 tiles. So when you're on tiled, you'll want to drag this bar based on the number of students that you have in the class if you want to be able to see all of them at once. Underneath change layout, you have full screen, so that would take everything full screen. Open picture in picture lets you stay in the call while you do other things. So this is really an attendee function, not so much a presenter function. Then you can apply visual effects. So if you would like to have a different background, you can also blur your background. So if you would like to add a blurring feature, you can increase or decrease the blur. You can also remove the blur. I can also put myself in a virtual background. So those are all new features there. I'm going to turn my camera back off. So those are your visual effects. Again, you have the turn on closed captions. And then the last thing I'm going to show you in this list is settings. So in settings, this is where you can find what your microphone or speakers are. So you want to make sure that you are attached to the correct speakers, and then also which camera it's using for the video. So those are important settings there. Another feature that I mentioned is this hand down here in the bottom of your dock. So what you can do is you can call for a hand raise. So this might be something that you might use to gauge class participation or to see when people have finished something. So for example, if your directive is for everyone to open a certain website, you can say raise your hand when you have opened that website. So then you would click on that raise hand option, and then what you'd be able to see in the participants list is any of the participants that raise their hand means that they've gone to that website, And then when you're done calling for a hand raise, you can just turn that off. So that's just another nice participation tool. Finally, the last thing that you need to know about Google Meet is when you're done meeting for the day and you hit the hang up option, then you would want to make sure to choose the end call for everyone so that students don't hang out or stay in your Google Meet after class is over. So you just want to make sure to click end the call for everyone. And those are the main features of Google Meet.